You know what's strange? You can hear a Beatles song and suddenly you feel something. And it's not always a clear memory either. Sometimes it's just a feeling. And the really strange part is, it happens even when people who weren't alive back then, people who never lived in the 60s, never saw any of it, never walked those streets. Yet the song comes on and it's like your body recognizes it before your brain does. I've always found that fascinating because nostalgia is supposed to be about your own past, right? So why does Beatles music make people feel nostalgic for a time they never lived in? I'll tell you what it feels like to me. What always gets me is that it never happens when I choose to play a Beatles song. It's usually when I'm doing something ordinary. In the car, in a shop, in the background somewhere. And then suddenly, it's there. The Fab Four. And for a second, everything slows down. I don't stop what I'm doing, but my head goes somewhere else. And I always catch myself thinking, why does this song do that? When so many other songs don't. Most people think nostalgia works in a really simple way. You hear a song, it reminds you of the past, and that's it. But nostalgia isn't really about time. Well, that's what I think anyway. It's about comfort. It's about your brain saying this feels familiar, this feels safe, this feels human. And over time, the Beatles somehow become one of the strongest emotional references or reference point people have, not because they were perfect, but because they were present. Their songs showed up when people were growing up, falling in love, figuring themselves out, spending time with family, living through change. Those are the years that stick. When music gets tied to moments like this, it doesn't just stay in your head, it becomes part of how you remember yourself. Take that song, for example, one of my favorite Beatles songs, In My Life. That song doesn't really tell you much when you think about it. There aren't many details, not clear story, but when it comes on, your memory just starts floating up. For me, it's never one clear picture. It's more like flashes, like moments. People I haven't thought about in years, places I didn't realize I missed, and the song isn't telling me to think about any of that. It just opens the door and my brain starts to do the rest. You don't listen to that song and think about John Lennon's life. You think about your life. That's what makes it powerful. And it's not clever in a flashy way. It's simple, almost casual. That's one thing about Beatles songs that really stands out to me. Their simplicity. It's you can relate to them so easily. You don't have to like try to crack your brain. Well, sometimes you do crack your brain with John Lennon. I remember that song, "I'm the Walrus." I'm like, what the hell is going on here? But I've since come to know that it was about nothing. So I was right in that instance. Anyway, let's get back to things. So they don't feel like they're performing at you. They feel like they're sitting right next to you, like someone just picked up a guitar and started playing in the same room. Yesterday is another one of those like that. There's nothing hidden in that song. No big production, no distractions. It's almost uncomfortable how exposed it is. And because of that, it feels personal, even though it isn't. Your brain treats it in the same way it treats real memories. Quietly, naturally, no efforts. Beatles songs also leave space. They don't explain everything. They don't crowd you emotionally. They let you bring your own life into them. Let It Be does that really well. That song doesn't rush you, it doesn't demand anything. When I hear it, I don't feel like I'm being told what to feel. I feel like I'm being allowed to feel whatever I'm already feeling. And that's a rare feeling. Too many feelings in there. Well, most music tries to grab you. Beatles songs don't grab, they invite. And then there are songs that don't just feel personal, they feel shared. Hey Jude is a perfect example of that. That song isn't really about listening, it's about being part of something special. People remember singing it with other people. hearing that song in a room full of voices, feeling connected. So when that song comes on years later, the nostalgia isn't yours, it's tied to other people. And shared memories always hits deeper than private ones. Another thing that really matters is how the Beatles were passed down. Parents played them to their kids. Kids grew up hearing those songs around the house. I know that my mom used to play the Beatles all the time. Paul McCartney was her favorite, and he's my favorite as well. I don't know if she influenced me. I don't know. But anyway, he's my favorite too. So even if you weren't there when the music was made, you're associated with home, with familiarity, with safety. It's like inherited nostalgia. You didn't live it, but you still feel it. And very few artists manage to do that. Something else I've noticed is how their music changed over time. They evolved constantly, but they never lost that human feel. So the songs sound like change, but not chaos. They make you feel like things move forward without falling apart. And that feeling is comforting. A lot of music gets tied to trends, production styles, technology. Beatles songs don't feel really stuck anywhere. They don't scream the 60s, they just sound like people. And that's probably why the nostalgia never fades. What really is interesting is seeing younger people react to this music. People who grew up with completely different sounds. That includes people like me. Different technology, different culture, and the reaction is still the same. Not excitement, recognition. Like they stumbled into something familiar without knowing why. So when a Beatles song catches you off guard and suddenly you feel something, it's not because the song is old, it's because it's familiar in a way that's hard to explain. It reminds you of connection, of simplicity, of moments that mattered. That's why those songs don't disappear. And they never will. They keep coming back. And every time they do so, they feel like they've always been there. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did so, I hope you subscribe and become a part of the family. Also, there are membership perks where you can vote and also help decide on the next topics we talk about and many other perks. So take care. My name is Harry. I'll see you later. Take care. Bye.